Hi everyone. So in this webinar session, I'm going to cover points related to multi-tenancy and how OLBA handles multi-tenancy and how to manage users in a tenant and how to publish the dashboards to other tenants in different options and to restrict the specific data on tenant level or change the data in dashboards using attributes based on the tenants. And along with this, I will cover how can you customize the Bolt BI as per your needs and about the rebranding the product options. So let's get deeper into our topic. So first of all, what is multi-tenancy? So multi-tenancy is a concept where multiple instances of a single application run on a shared environment. So let's see a simple example. Let's consider a banking process. So a lot of customers have account in a bank in the same branch, but each and every customer are not aware of the other customers. It means each customer is integrated physically but logically separate. In the same way, when we have a multiple tenants in a shared environment, every tenant is integrated physically but logically separate. So as it is logically separated, multi-tenants can be achieved in three different architectures. First type is standalone app, and the second type is database per tenant, and the third type is shared multi-tenant. So standalone app is something like which will have a separate instance for every tenant and it will have separate database. So such type of multi-tenancy architecture is called as the standalone app. Next one is the database per tenant. Here, there will be a single instance of an application and each and every tenant using that instance will have a separate database. That concept is called as the database per tenant. And the last type is shared multi-tenant, where there will be a single instance of an application, but multiple tenants will share same database. So such type of architecture is called as the shared multi-tenant. So among these three architectures, Bolt BI uses database per tenant architecture. This is the architecture of multi-tenancy used in Bolt BI. As you are looking into the picture, every tenant has its own database and every tenant has its own database for managing its resources and dashboards. So they are isolated from other tenants and are single Bolt BI deployment. This is the identity provider, which is the core application of multi-tenancy solution, which manages the tenant and its user identity. Now, what about security in Bolt BI? So Bolt BI provides both data security and application security. On data wise, every tenant user can only log into their tenant and can access only their resource. User belongs to the tenant can only see the users belong to that tenant and can able to share the dashboards within the tenant. So that's how the data is secured in Bolt BI. And in application wise, every Bolt BI product installation will generate unique private keys in the customer machine. So these private keys will be used to encrypt and store the sensitive data like password and the connection strings. So these are all about the securities. Now let's see how to create new tenant and the other features available in the Bolt BI. So let me show you. So once you have launched your application, once you have logged into the application, you can able to see this initial page. So this is called as the Bolt BI server. And at the left corner, at the bottom of the left corner, you can able to see the profile option. Click on that and there will be option called the manage sites. Once clicked, the page will be redirecting to the sites listing page. So here you can able to visualize what all are the tenants you have deployed in Bolt BI, in your application. So that's the sites listing page. So to create a new tenant, click on the create site option and here you need to provide some necessary details which are required to register a new site. So provide a site name, which is the tenant name. So for example, I'm providing as like webinar multi-tenant one, and you need to provide the identifier. Let me have like webinar one, and this identifier will be appended along with your site URL. And you need to select user branding options. So if you like to have different branding options, and you can able to use that too. And the next step is to configure the database. So this database configuration will help you to store like whatever the dashboards, users, and their access permissions, everything will be stored in this database. So now let me configure with my local machine. If you have SSL, then you can enable it for the tenants. And the next step is to select the data stores. So data stores will help, which is nothing but like an intermediate database where whatever the imported data from your data sources, everything will be stored in this data store. So let me have a name for that. And once provided, now you need to select the storage type. Either it may be file storage or it may be Azure Blob Storage. So files, I mean, whatever the file data that you have been uploaded into the in your installed locations, everything will be stored in this storage types. So once provided, the next option is to provide the isolation code and attributes. So even if you want to configure this later, you can configure it after created a site also. I mean, after created a tenant also, that's not a problem. So as of now, you can skip this option. And the last step is to select the administrator. I mean, whoever needs to be act as an administrator for the tenant. So let me select a random user and create launch site. Now it will take a couple of seconds to register your new site. So as of now, I have logged in using Bhumika account. So it will try to log in using Bhumika, but the administrator is Praveen. So I cannot able to log in using the Bhumika account. So now let's try in the incognito tab. So as this is the first time we are launching the new tenant, it will take some couple of seconds to load it. Let it load. And here you can able to see under the sites listing page, what all are the tenants you have created. Now you can able to see your new tenant that you have created. And also if you want to do any, I mean, if you want to delete the tenants or if you want to suspend your tenant for a few months or few days, you can able to suspend them under the sites listing page. So now let's log in into our new tenant. So now we have created a new tenant. So as of now, I don't have any dashboards. So this is how to create a new tenant. Now let's see how to add users for different tenants or how to add a specific user in multiple tenants. So for example, now I want to add user for a specific tenant. So click on the tenant wherever you want to add. Just click on to the tenants and there will be option called users. And here you can provide the grant access for the users. Like whatever the users you have added, they will be excluded from the users list and other users will be listed over here. Like whatever the other tenants have. So you can just select them and provide the options like grant access. Then the list of users will be automatically added for this tenant. Either you can able to add users in this option or else you can add a specific user to different tenants also. Let me show you that. So go to the users option and there you can able to find who all are has been added into the Power BI applications. Here you can select multiple users or even a single users and you can provide the site access. So whatever the tenants they need to access, you can able to provide a single user with the multiple tenant options. So that's like how to manage users in different tenants. Okay. So then next we can go into the publish option. So I have created dashboards in my tenant. Now I need to publish this dashboard to different tenants. It may be some other tenants created in Power BI or it may be outside your Power BI tenant. In that case, you can publish the dashboards in two different options. One is internal publish or external publish. Okay. So internal publish is to publish the dashboard whatever the sites created in the same server. An external site is to publish the dashboards created in the other server. So first let's see how to create in the internal site. So I have created on the internal site, and here you need to select which tenant the dashboard needs to be published, and just provide a name for it. And I have provided the name for that. And here you can able to find the options called log, which helps to restrict the user to edit the dashboard or to edit the data sources. So if you don't like to edit the dashboards or data sources by the other tenant users, then you can enable the options logging, which helps to restrict the dashboards and data sources. And once provided, click on submit. Now the dashboard will be published to that site, and you can able to track all these options under the publish module. So you can able to find the options here. Now let me refresh this page, and you can see here the dashboard has been published to the webinar multi-tenant one. Now we can see the changes over here. Now you can see the changes like whatever the dashboard that has been published into our new tenant. Okay. So this is the internal tenant publish. And also you can able to have external publish also. For example, consider I'm having a tenant which is an outside of the other servers, then you can able to do external publish also. Let me show with the same dashboard, or else let me do it with different dashboards. So you can select external sites, and now I don't have any external site. Or else if you want, you can add the new site using the client ID, client secret, and the site URL. So let me show you that where to get the client ID and client secret. So if you want, you can click on the tenant, and there will be an option called client ID, client secret, and the site URL. So once you passed all over this details, then you can able to publish the dashboards to the external sites. As like I shown you here, the same other tenants will have the external dashboards also. So that's the external publish. So now let me have now let me register some tenant. So I have added as external tenant, and you can able to see the options here. Now select that, and you can provide some different name for the categories. Now submit it. Now the dashboard will be published into the tenant under the category called external tenants. So I have published here. Now let's see by refreshing the dashboard page. Now the external publish also is working on the multi-tenants. And the next concept is to synchronize the changes. For example, I have a test dashboard, and consider if I make any changes on this data and I want to publish the same changes to the other tenants, then you can able to do using the synchronize option. If you click on synchronize, then the changes that have been done on this server will be automatically published onto the other tenants also wherever you have published this dashboard. So that's the synchronize option. And now let's see how to make use of the isolation code and the custom attributes. So first let's see isolation code. So you can see here I have a dashboard which comprises of nearly like more than 5 regions of data. So when I'm publishing this dashboard to some other tenants, and they must have only data, I mean they must visualize only the data related to Asia and Europe. In that case, you can able to apply rollable security for a tenant to apply on all the dashboards. To make that option, so select the tenant wherever you want to make the changes and go to the option called isolation code. So enable the isolation code option, And before that, let me show you the changes. So in our new tenant, we have more than 5 data. Now let me apply filters. So I'm just restricting the data to have only Asia and Europe. Now let's save this, and you can able to see the changes in our tenant also. So I have applied for the webinar multi-tenant one, and you can able to see now only the dashboard comprises of data Asia and Europe. So this is the concept of the isolation. So now let's see what happens if I disable this property to analyze the differences. Now you can see all the data of that data source. Now the tenant will use all the data. So that's the isolation component. Okay. And the next topic is the custom attribute. So before going into the custom attribute, let me tell you what it is. The custom attribute is something that like a parameter which helps you to change the values dynamically on the tenant. For example, consider I have a tenant and I have created data using a specific table or specific REST API, whatever it may be. So let me show you here. I have created a data source. And instead of this, I may have a different tables for different users. In that case, based on the logged in users or based on the group levels or based on the tenant levels, you can able to change the table names. But I have the user ID, name, and quantity. These 3 columns are common in all the tables. But I just want to replace with the table name. In that case, you can create an attribute under the user. So under the users, you can able to find like what all are the users you have in your account, and click on the users, and there will be an option called attributes. If you need, you can add a new attribute and provide a name and value for the attributes. And once more provided, the key name, like whatever the key name you have used for the attributes, needs to be replaced with the data source. Now, once applied, then the values will be automatically applied from the attributes based on the level. First level is user. If it doesn't have, then it will go on to the group level. And even group level doesn't have that, then it will go on to the tenant level. So now let's see how this change is applied. So I have saved a table underscore user one to view the data. Now I have published this same dashboard to the other tenants, but I don't have any attributes. So as of now, it will try to view the date, the value for that attribute. As it doesn't have, it will be in an error state. So you can see the changes here. So as of now, it will be in error state as the attribute doesn't have value. Now we can create a new attribute and provide a value for that. The key name must be same and value can be anything. Like I have used a table user one here. So let me provide as table user two in the values. Now once saved, now you can refresh the dashboards in the tenant and you can able to see the differences about the value that has been used for fetching. So now the table 2 has been used in the values and the data has been fetched. So this is the concept of the custom attribute. And also we have another concept called default deployment dashboards. So that's something like while you're creating this tenant, it seems like there is no dashboard. And we also have another option. For example, while I'm creating a new tenant, this test dashboard one and custom attribute must be published as a default dashboard. So that option also can be done. So let me show you here, like under the test dashboards. For example, I want to make this as a default deployment dashboard. Then you can go to the settings option under the context menu, and there will be a section called dashboards. Under that, you need to add whatever the dashboards need to be added while creating a new site. So let me add a new dashboard. So let me create this dashboard. And once I added, now it has been added. Now let's try by creating a new site. As I'm just following the steps which I told you before, how to create the tenants. So I'm making a random user to the applications. Now it will take a couple of seconds to register a site. So now let's see this in the incognito. Let me log out this and try. Now the default dashboards will be automatically added into the tenant whenever you're creating a new site. So this is also possible by creating a new tenant. So this is the concept called default deployment dashboards. So these are the features, and along with this, we have some customization option also. For example, you can see here I have different context menus like dashboards, data sources, pin boards, and some other options. And even for dashboards, I have like edit, security, and different context menu. So if I want to hide some other options like pin boards and slideshows, I don't want to show pin boards and slideshows, or else I don't want to show edit option for my dashboard in the context menu, then you can able to customize each and every option. So let me show you how to make that. So before that, let me show you the help link. So this was the help link where you can able to find the details about the user interface customization. And here we have mentioned like wherever you need to make the changes, then only the customizations will be applied on the Bolt BI applications. So now let me move on to the section C, Bolt services and app data. And inside that, there will be option called custom UI. Now I have opened this option. I have opened this file in the notepad, and this was the data which helps you to customize the application. So first of all, it is called as the sites. I mean, here you need to pass the identifier. Like while you're registering, you have used some identifier name. So this was the identifier, or else you can able to find them under the sites option. Let me show you that too. While you're registering, you will provide some site identifier. So this will be used to make changes on the customizations. Now let me provide some value here, site one. And the next is to provide the profile details. So profiles will help you to make customization on the left side of the canvas, like dashboards or data sources. So whatever the options you need to make customize here, or whatever the options you want to do, enter the categories like you can see here when I click on a new dashboards, then it will be opening in the new tab. Instead of that, while I'm clicking on the dashboards, it must view on the same page. So you can also able to do this option through the profiles. So now let me provide some name. And I just want to show the dashboards in the same page. So that's the option called the same page preview. And let me hide pin boards and slideshows. So this is the profile one. Now let me provide this profile. So whatever the profile you are providing here, this will be applicable to the sites, whatever you have added in the array collection. So you can have n number of different tenants also, like site one, tenant four. So you can have n number of tenants, and which will use the same profile details. And if you want to use different profiles for multiple tenants, like site one must use profile one, and tenant 1 must use profile 2, something like that. So you can add it by adding the sites list. Okay. So that's the profiles detail. And the next option is the schemes. So schemes will help you to customize on the context menu options. As I shown you here, like edit, security, or the copy, clone, publish. So such type of context menus can be customized. Let me show you here. I don't want to show edit and security in the context menus. You can provide a name for it, scheme 1, and this schemes must pause on the values under the sections. Like I have these context menus under the dashboard, so I'm passing that option here. So if data sources has like a preview data or refresh or edit data source, in that case you can make changes on the corresponding options, and you need to provide these schemes for the corresponding sections. So that's the schemes option. And along with this, we have some custom menus also. For example, you can see here I have nearly like 8 context menus here. And instead of schedules or along with the information, I need to show like online help or some other links which you want to show here as an context menu. Then you can add it in your own itself. So that's the option for the custom menus. And you can provide your image links or the whatever the link it needs to be redirected. And open behavior is something like in the same tab or in a new tab. So that's the concept of the custom menus. So now we have changed, and let me save this file. So to make these changes reflect on your applications, you need to restart your application in IIS. So now let me restart the application. So now I have restarted the application, and it will take some couple of seconds, or it may take some few seconds to load the entire applications. Now let's refresh the page. So as of now, we have a pinboards and slideshows. Once the application gets restarted, then the options will not be available in the UI. And also you can able to hide the options like edit and security, everything in the customizations tab. As we are restarting the entire applications, it will take few seconds. Now the page has been loaded, and you can see here there is no option called the pinboards and slideshows. So like that, you can able to customize them. And also, let me select some dashboard, like this dashboard one. Now the dashboards will be loading on the at the right panel. So once page is loaded, then the dashboard will be loading on your right panel. And you can see here under the context menu, I couldn't find the option called edit and security because we have hidden that property. So like that, you can able to customize even the dashboard's context menu or the whole VI context list, which are listing on the left side. Or if you want to show the different pages or the same page, everything can be customized. So this is the concept of user interface customizations. And you can find some more additional details under this help. And our last topic is to make rebranding. I mean, if you want to change your logos or whatever the options you want to do, you can able to do that under the settings section. So let me load that page. And here, for example, for tenant 1, I need to have a different date formats and time zones. And for tenant 2, if you want to have a different time zones and date formats, so you can able to do that under the settings option of each and every tenant. So every tenant has this option. You can able to change time zones, date formats, or the localizations. Like instead of English, if you want to use your own languages, you can able to have a localizations. And if you want to change the logos or the copyright information, so you can see here there is powered by and copyright. And if you want to hide that, you can able to do based on the tenants. And let me show you like how to change the logos. So if you have any logo on your end, and then you can able to change it. So let me have some image. So I'm just uploading a different image. Now you can see here the login screen logo has been modified. So likewise, if you applied for header logo or favicon or email logo, so whatever the logos you have added here, this will be used while you're logging into the applications or while sending the notifications to the emails. So everything will be modified based on the attached image or the logos. Okay. So this is the concept of the custom white labeling or the rebranding options. Now let us go to our presentation slides. So I have covered all this topic. Now let's see a small introduction about that, like how to create a new tenant in Power BI and how to publish the dashboards to another tenant and how to synchronize it. So you can make publish in three different options, either a default dashboards or through internal publish or through external publish. And if you want to publish, if you want to synchronize your changes, we have an option called the synchronize. So through that, you can synchronize your changes with the other tenant. And also you can able to restrict the dashboard access or the data source access while publishing the dashboards to other tenants through the option called lock. So you can able to lock either dashboard access or data source or even a both through the locking option. And at the next one is to how to add multiple users for a tenant. As I shown you, you can click on to the tenant and you can add whatever the tenant users you want to add. You can select multiple users or else you can select a specific user and grant access for multiple tenants. That is also an option. And custom attributes and isolation code. As I shown you, isolation code helps to apply the rollable security on each and every tenant. Based on that, the data will be restricted for the dashboard. And custom attributes will help you to change the values. Like instead of the static data, you can have dynamic data based on the attribute value. And along with this, we have seen about the user interface customization. However, you can able to change the context menus or the preview options or the custom menus. Everything can be visualized. Everything can be customized. And also about the white labeling options. And I have added reference links here. So you can able to refer the multi-tenancy topics or publish dashboards or about the user interface customizations and about white labeling. So these links will help you to know about more about the topics that I have covered here. So that's all are my presentations. Thank you, everyone.